It's just great angles and good ass lighting. I'm not overly vain, don't have gyno, not pimply and acne, don't have a deep voice and shit. Like my voice is majority of the time is high.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplaysmoredates.com. Today we're going to be talking about Terron Beckham. So this is, if there was ever a guy in the fitness industry that you would classify as a hybrid guy with a sick physique who's also an athlete, it would be this guy. This guy is the cousin of Odell Beckham Jr. And he actually puts up arguably better numbers in certain aspects in regards to not only when it comes to metrics of performance for the combine, but also in like sheer fucking power. This guy is an absolute animal. So this is his Instagram. It's Terron Beckham FB Aftermath, and this guy notably claims natural, and he has a very, very good physique, and some of his strength feats are some of the most impressive I have ever seen, especially for a natural. So in this caption, the most recent update a few days ago is he started a cutting phase. He's 240 right now, and he's a bit stronger because he's kind of like, you know, a bit more fluffy than normal, but typically he's around like 225, 230. And his height is supposedly only about 5'11". So this guy, you know, fluctuates up and down in his physique to some extent. Sometimes he's a bit fluffier than others. Here he is with our boy, Jesse James West. Tons of strength feats. This guy is just a fucking beast and maintains such a high level of athleticism with this simultaneous strength, with simultaneously having an absurd physique. Here he is at the end of one of his cuts. Back in the day, this is when I cut from 230 to 218, back in the Goku Flex days. So this is, according to him, totally naturally during a cut. And you have to keep in mind, it's not like he's 6'4" or something. This guy is under 6 feet tall, and he's shredded at almost 220 pounds while still putting up, like, I don't know if you guys realize, when I say he's strong, you'll see just how strong he is briefly, but this guy literally puts up 5 plates on the bench, naturally. 5 fucking plates. So here's another image of him from, well, he's always been natural. So, you know, his natty days, here he is looking super natty, right? So this is a physique a lot of guys on gear are never even gonna get. Frankly, 99% of people who take gear are never gonna look like this. And this is what he looks like completely naturally. Here he is on the front of a magazine back when I was 19 versus now. What? So this is, oh, he was on the cover of a magazine that far ago? Crazy. So anyways, here he is. Oh, it says he's 6 feet tall. So he's just 6 feet according to this. According to Google, they say he's 5'11", but I don't know. Somebody's doing you dirty somewhere, dude. 5'11", what are you? 6 feet or 5'11"? Anyway, so he has absurd strength numbers. He has absurd athleticism. He has an absurd physique, and he's been pretty consistent for all the years. Oh, this was actually a pretty sick photo I just saw of, was that Spawn cosplay? It's been a while since I played a Spawn video game. That used to be one of my favorite series, actually. Anyways, I fucking missed it, but whatever. So anyways, back in 2016, he was trying to make the NFL, and they said the title of some of these articles that were made about him, Terron Beckham puts up mock pro numbers that rival cousin Odell Beckham Jr. So here they were assessing his performance metrics with some notable tests that you've probably seen many times when it comes to the NFL. We have 40-yard dash, 225-pound bench, 3-cone drill, vertical jump, broad jump, and here they stack up Odell Beckham Jr. versus Terron, who's the guy we're looking at today. As far as the 40-yard dash, Terron is not that far behind. As far as the 225-pound bench, he completely fucking demolishes his cousin by a significant amount. It says DNP on this one. All I think when I say DNP is like, if you know my channel, you know what I mean when I say DNP. But anyways, so he usually puts up about 40 reps on the 225 bench. So I'll show you a video of that after. But anyways, 3-cone drill. He's pretty close to his cousin. Vertical jump, he smokes his cousin. He actually here in a subsequent test did the bench press, did the vertical jump, and here he is hitting 44.5 inches on the vertical.
Go ahead and get that. Let's go. Good jump, T.
So absolutely fucking bonkers. Here's his bench press for 225. This tweet by Connor Hughes. Terron Beckham bench. Oh my lord, Jets. Here to watch 36 reps at 225.
Baby. Yeah. Lock him out. Lock him out. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go, T. Come on, T. Go. Got more. Go. We got more. Let's go. Get it. Yeah. Come on. You got more. Keep speed. Come on. Yeah. Keep speed. Keep going. Keep it. Keep it hard. Keep it hard. Keep it. Come on.
So the video cuts off, and honestly, I didn't even fucking count, but apparently it was 36 reps for 225, for 225 pounds. And this guy is just absolutely absurd athleticism. Like I said, here he is doing the broad jump and hitting 11 feet.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ridiculously athletic, ridiculously strong. We've already established that. Also has body composition numbers that make no fucking sense for a natural, or at least are very, very, very suspect. But the strength is the main thing. Like the body composition, it's like, okay, maybe you have some myostatin deficiency or some shit. But like, man, some of the strength numbers are just too absurd to the point where it makes you think, is this even debatable? You know? Anyways, he also tried out for the WWE, and apparently he made it, but he turned down the deal. So, first of all, looking at his body composition changes over the years, he made a 5-year body life transformation motivational video, and he kind of goes through his progress and whatnot. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing because it's 20 minutes long, but this is before we get to the WWE portion. Basically, he shows how he started off. The guy's always been like fitness model material even before he was really trying, and he's always been stupidly athletic, like I mentioned. He did some fitness model stuff, he did some men's physique type stuff, he got involved in the fitness industry more with certain brands, and kind of associating himself more so with the mainstream and whatnot. Here he is winning a physique, what was this? Was this a first place award? I can't even see, but this is the NPC, so he's competing in against guys who are not being drug tested, and he is supposedly natural here. You know, he's just made absurd strides in his physique from day one. He was always a genetic elite, obviously, and this entire time he claims natural, even while his strength is going through the roof, and he's putting up absurd numbers consistently. Like, this guy literally has been excessively impressive from day one, and is obviously genetically gifted to the point where even if he was on gear, this is still insane, even if you were on gear. So anyways, fast forward to more, at least present time in 2017, and he ended up wanting to try out for the WWE, and this is what he goes on to elaborate on what inspired him to do so. Here he talks about how it could be, you know, he's a good fit for it and blah, 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 and why he would want to do it. And it turns out, according to him, he ended up making it, but then in this article here, Terron Beckham explained why he turned it down. So they wanted to put him in they want to give him a developmental deal, but apparently it would have required him to drop everything that he has going on. That's YouTube fitness business and being a fitness personality. Everything he would want to do would be under their wing, and he wasn't fully okay with that. And keep in mind, WWE is one of the most prevalent drug abusing leagues because it is not real wrestling. It's guys who are putting on a show and are sauced out of their fucking mind. So anybody who thinks WWE drug testing has any level of scrutiny whatsoever is completely fucking oblivious to what's going on. Why he can't, so obviously if you're trying to make the WWE, would you not benefit more from taking some shit? Like, what do you think? So why he can't drop everything to sign with the WWE? So basically, the WWE, it seems like they had a lot of limitations on what he could do. He'd be losing money if he was constrained by their limitations they put on him. He'd be making less money than what he was getting paid at the time if he took this developmental deal. So it sounds like they were going to basically put him on a leash and not really give him the opportunity to do his own stuff while he worked out with them. So he ended up passing on it. But you have to keep in mind, this guy's like an NFL prospect who actually was going to like blow out everybody else's combine numbers if he continued from there. The WWE offered him a developmental deal that he turned down. which presumably anybody in the WWE or trying to be in it would do quite a bit to get into it, you know, or, you know, maintain a body composition that would be most conducive to making it and doing well and becoming a superstar in it. Why the fuck would you not? And now moving on to present day. This is not even present day. This is actually a few years ago, but he's been putting up these numbers for a while now. He puts up 500 pounds on the bench, which is the number one thing we're going to be referring to in this Natty or Not, which is just absolutely fucking unexplainable to me. So here he is. He has 500 on the bar. He gets a lift off. He doesn't even have two guys on the side. He just has one guy spotting him. Gets a lift off. Now you could argue the guy might have touched it a tad, but the guy basically did it himself. Now, this was 3 years ago. This is not recent. This is like earlier in his, I don't even know how old this guy is, mid-20s. This is like not where he's maxed out. This is not his PR personally right now. This is before he's reached his PR. Now his PR isn't that much better than it used to be, but this guy has been just, this is just showing how excessively strong he has been from even the start. Now, and this is around the time he was trying to get into the WWE, where presumably you would be best off by being on fucking gear. Now, in this video, he squats 605 pounds. So the guy's putting up 5 plates on the bench. He's putting up over 600 on the squat. He goes in here to talk about his steroid use before we get into his 725 pound deadlift, which has since improved to better numbers, but we're going to get into the PRs, comparison to worldwide, literal world records, and then we can, you know, I'll let you guys decide for yourself what you think.
It's just great angles and good ass lighting. I'm not overly vain, don't have gyno, not pimply and acne, don't have a fucking deep voice and shit. Like, my voice, the majority of the time, is fucking high.
So he thinks that because you don't have a high voice, you don't get acne, you don't get gyno, that somehow it means you're natural, which is obviously not the case. Like, have you ever seen Ronnie Coleman? The guy has like the like the highest voice ever. And there's so many guys that don't have acne, gyno, etc. And the high voice thing is definitely not an indicator whatsoever. And none of the other, all the other stuff is basically like mismanagement of side effects, or you're genetically prone. It doesn't necessarily mean everyone's gonna get one of these things.
Yeah, buddy. Lightweight. Yeah, buddy. Go. Yeah, lightweight.
All the time I may have a deep voice is like in the fucking morning, like, you know what I'm saying? I hit high notes when I was a singer back in high school and shit. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
So this guy is getting pretty riled up about it because obviously he doesn't like being called out, and I don't know, like I guess you can't really win if you actually are natural, but if anything, you should just be flattered, in my opinion, if it was actually the case. But I don't know. Let's hear what else he has to justify his natty status here.
And I think a lot of you just don't understand. And you want to just come to my page, my YouTube channel, and just think the worst, because this fitness industry, yes, it's full of lies. Yes, people that are obviously not natural claim natural.
Okay, so, you know, assume the worst, think it's lies, blah, blah, blah. It's like pretty much everyone in this industry who has a good physique and good strength numbers is, or like comparable to world record numbers, is not natural. So yeah, like, I don't, it's not like thinking the worst. It's actually the biggest compliment ever if you were actually natural. So I don't think it's, even if you weren't natural, this is still fucking absurd. So this is just a compliment to your work, sir, rather than shitting on you. But, you know, it's the lying that people don't like. So I can understand where you're coming from, that where this would be annoying if you were actually natural. But it's like, dude, like, how fucking likely is it? Like, come on. So getting further into the PRs, this is kind of the thing that is the main thing to reference. Here he is hitting 725 deadlift with max tuning. So this guy crushes 725 pounds on the deadlift, and that was back in 2017 again. Here he is benching 500 again for much greater ease than he did in the previous video that we saw before.
Let's go. Let's go. Move up. Finish it. Finish it.
So pretty fucking easy. 500. Literally, the guy just explodes 500 pounds off the bench totally naturally. Now, He's in videos with Larry Wheels as well, powerlifter versus athlete, and they do a lot of, you know, it's not really like, it's competitive. It's not actual like competition or anything, but it's them kind of just trying to beat their strength PRs and whatnot, and him trying to kind of hang with Larry in some of the lifts and whatnot. And the fact that he is even close to hanging with him on anything is, like, Larry is juiced as fuck, and he's the phenom of phenoms. If you're even hanging with him whatsoever, like, what does that say for you in terms of how likely it is that you're natty? Like, this guy is literally like the top overall, like, just fucking phenom of a power lifter on YouTube, and you're hanging with him totally naturally. Why would you not hop on gear and just fucking shit on everyone? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Here is them doing a 225 bench press contest, and basically them just cranking out fucking reps, because we both know that they're both able to hit, like, you know, 40 plus reps essentially on this lift, and they're just there just cranking shit out with each other. Here is Terron moving forward. He hit 785 back in almost 2 years ago now, actually, at Zoo Culture Gym. He stacks up 785 pounds. Here he is setting himself up, and he goes for a, I don't even know if this was a PR at the time, but this is a fucking stupid lift, obviously.
Let's go!
So I've seen him try to hit 800 and fail, but the 785 completion is, you know, his presumably his PR. And here he is in present day. This was literally like, I guess 2 months ago, trying to hit 520, which is a PR for him. So this is how easily he does it. Too easy. So he has a 520 pound max bench, a 785 deadlift, and from what I could find, he has a 605 squat. It might be different than that, but that was the best squat I could find. So this guy, most notably, the bench numbers are like astronomical, dude, to the point where it made me go look up the IPF world records to see exactly what kind of numbers this guy was stacking up as a natural against guys in his same weight class. So if you go look at the World Open Men's Classic records, we have the bench press, 105 kilograms, Barry Pigott. So this guy, Terron Beckham, is about 230 pounds. So that would put him in the 105 kilogram weight class. So if we look at the bench press world record, we have Barry Pigott at 230.5 kilograms, which is 508 pounds. And this is what that world record looked like at the same body weight as Terron, benching 508 pounds at the same body weight.
World record bench press.
Get it right before you go. Lefty attack. Nice and tight. Let it settle, feed it up.
Nice.
Come on,
Steady.
Barry.
Okay, it's
Breathe
just
it down.
start, come on.
Punch it to the
It's
shoulder.
going, it's going. Oh, yes.
So that was the world record at the same weight class, doing 12 pounds less than what Terron can max out with relative ease. Without, like, it wasn't easy, but it definitely, he probably had another, 5-10 pounds in him at least. Like, that was not the hardest looking fucking struggle rep I've ever seen. So he basically is saying he's better than the world record holder right now in the IPF for natural bench press. And there's other leagues, yes, but it's like, as far as I know, the IPF is essentially the most well-respected or accredited natural powerlifting organization that, randomly drug tests athletes. It's like, at least, if they're natural or not, like, they're at least being drug tested, and Terron isn't. And presumably if he's natural, like, this is what we compare him up against. And he's basically saying that his bench press is stronger than the current world record for the guy in his weight class. And even if you look at a guy who is literally a bench press specialist. So normally when you have, the different lifts, you have squat, deadlift, bench, and you have these guys that all have to do the lifts. And then whoever gets the world record in those is classified as the world record holder. There's guys that will do bench press as their specialty though, where they only do that one lift as their specialty and they train their entire lives just to become a specialist at bench press and do nothing else. So these guys have a disproportionately higher bench press just because that's exactly what they're the best at rather than doing the squat and deadlift. So comparing him to hybrid athletes like himself, like obviously he's not a bench press specialist either. You see him doing athletic things all the time. You see him trying to max out on squats, deadlifts, bench, doing, you know, like combine type shit, doing like broad jumps, doing like, you know, box jumps, doing all this crazy shit. So he's definitely not a bench press specialist. And even if you were to compare him to the world record bench press specialist who literally does fucking nothing else except bench press for his entire life and dedicates his entirety of his focus and every single thing he does in life to just hitting a max out on the bench, that world record holder is Joseph Amendola, who hit 247.5 kilograms on the bench. So basically you're telling me that you somehow managed to bench press 25 pounds less than the world record bench press specialist, and you still beat the world record holder currently for the guy who wasn't the bench press specialist, but is still the world record holder for bench press, Barry Piggott. At the same weight class, you beat him by 12 pounds. That's just fucking insane, dude. To even conceive that somebody could naturally, who doesn't even do this intentionally to train for this lift, could smoke that guy, you know? So for me, even without getting into the deadlift numbers, I was going to compare his deadlift and his squats to the max, to the world record holders. But the bench, like, it's enough said, dude. This guy is literally beating the world record holder in the IPF at the same weight class. Like, I don't know what more needs to be said. I don't think it's possible this guy could be natural. I think he's a fake natty, and that is my conclusion on it. The guy has an absolutely ridiculous physique. He's holding 225 pounds lean on his physique. He's like barely 6 feet tall. He can bench more than the world record holder naturally somehow, even though he doesn't even train specially for powerlifting. He does like fucking gaming and like does a bunch of shit for fun. He like barely even takes it seriously according to him. He's been trying out for the WWE. He's just like a fucking incredible overall athlete and doesn't try to break world records necessarily, but somehow he just could if he entered into the IPF, and you know, presumably if he got drug tested, he would be clean. Even if there was a way to, you know, randomly drug test someone and not give them the opportunity to skirt around it with their shitty testing parameters. But even if he was, you know, if there was a way to naturally test them, presumably he would pass, right? Because he's natural, and he would crush the world record holder right now. Like, why would you not just enter it and fucking get it? Like, I don't understand, dude. So for me, just the bench press itself, along with the body composition and some of these performance metrics, were just too disproportionately good for me to conceive and wrap my head around that this guy's natural. I can't imagine anybody who gives a shit about strength being a world record holder and not wanting to go get the fucking record. So for me, that's my conclusion, not natty. Absolutely incredible athlete though, but still, you know, it just doesn't add up to me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Terron Beckham is natural? Do you think it is even fucking possible for a guy to break a world record legitimately while being natural and just like beat the natural world record at the same body weight and not actually go get that world record himself competitively? Like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around this guy's body composition, just historically trying to make the WWE, the way he looks, the way he performs. Like, does this look like a natural to you guys? Let me know. All the comments help the algorithm. They're much appreciated and help push the videos to a new audience. Follow me on Instagram at moreplates_more_dates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My TRT clinic, as well as Gorilla Mind, Gorilla Mode, my turnkey nootropic and pre-workout formulas I designed from scratch myself based on my own synergies and combinations of ingredients that I feel are efficacious, rather than deferring to some manufacturer who puts out a high margin, shitty, fucking watered down product. I make these myself from scratch, and I encourage you to compare the labels of whatever you're currently using to ours, and I guarantee you it becomes pretty damn clear pretty quickly why ours are becoming a industry leader right now. And anything else I'm associated with, video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.